Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of B&A Sports Talk. Sick update. I feel good. It's kind of weird. I feel good a little bit. I'm like, I don't want to celebrate because I'm like, what's coming next? But I feel good. And today I want to talk about the New York. Actually, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. You probably already saw that in the title, so I'm not fooling anyone here. And what I realized is I haven't really talked a lot about other teams besides the Giants. I mean, sometimes talk about the Yankees. I barely talk about the Knicks. But all I do is talk about Giants. And I kind of stopped talking about other teams because I didn't really know a whole bunch about them. Anything, I would say it's like a little bit generic. Unless I had like a strong opinion, I wouldn't really upload something. And today I actually have a pretty strong opinion. And it's about the Pittsburgh Steelers and why I don't think that they're going to be over 500. Now, with certain teams like the Seahawks, the Patriots, the Packers. Actually, no, not the Packers. But you know they're going to be over 500. Every single year. It's weird. It's just like you keep on discounting them. It's just like, oh, they're over 500. Now it's because of the quarterback. You have Russell Wilson with the Patriots for a while. You thought it was Bill Belichick, but actually maybe it was Tom Brady. No, but that roster was really depleted in talent. It all happens until it doesn't. And I think the Steelers have a well-talented team. I mean, they went 11-0, but they finished 4-5. And that's what the Patriots. That's how with the Patriots. They were 8-0, and then they finished off their season losing a whole bunch of games. And then they lost in the first round of the playoffs, and then the next year they were bad because they lost their quarterback. Now, Ben Roethlisberger, the drop-off from last year to this year is not going to be the same between Tom Brady and Cam Newton or, whoever they rolled out last year, whether it was, I forgot his name, Jared Stidham. There you go. But if you take a look at the roster for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's not great. Now, I don't think they're going to go 6-11. I think they're going to be somewhere around 8-9. You take a look at the division, take a look at the schedule. Let's actually just start off with the schedule, I think, because you start off, again, it doesn't really start off that hard the first week against the Bills, I get it, but then you play teams like the Bengals, the Raiders, then you're going to have to face against Aaron Rodgers one of those 2 weeks. Okay, so you're going to start off probably 3-2, maybe 4-1. You're going to start off pretty strong, but that's when it starts getting pretty hard. I'm not saying it's a gauntlet of a schedule, but you face the Seahawks, who I don't think are going to be great, but that's Russell Wilson's prime. That's October. That's where Russell Wilson's going to be winning MVP. Then you have an early bye week for no reason. Not for no reason, but that's what happened last year, remember? And that's why they struggled going down the stretch. So you're going to be 3-3, 4-2 at this point, and then you face the Browns, the Bears. Yeah, that's probably a win. The Lions, so, you're going strong. But then it starts getting rough. Either the Chargers, a healthy Burrow Bengals, because, week 3 when they play them, it may not be that bad. Then it's the Ravens, the Vikings, Kirk Cousins. That's not December yet. That's not when he starts choking. That's when he's putting up some good stats. Actually, it is December technically. But then, then the Titans, Kansas City, Cleveland again, and that's when you start feeling the fatigue. And so, it's a pretty tough schedule. Based on last year's numbers, it's the hardest strength of schedule. Based on this year's abilities, it's like a top 5 hardest schedule. It's not a cakewalk by any stretch of the imagination. Now let's take a look at their roster. Now, Steelers fans, as I am a Giants fan. I know more about the Giants roster than you do. If you're a Steelers fan watching this. Steelers fans, you know more about your roster than I do. But I'm taking a look at the depth of that secondary. Terrell Edmunds, good player. Good pick. I think he was a first-round pick. Good pick. Then Minkah Fitzpatrick, good trade. But that's your only safety depth. Like, what if one of those guys goes down? You can't. Can you rely on those guys taking 1,000 snaps every year? And even going forward over the next few years, that is a little bit concerning there. They were unable to sign safety depth because of the overbearing contracts of Ben Roethlisberger. They had to get rid of not Bud Dupree. Was it Bud Dupree? Yeah, you had to get rid of Bud Dupree because he was injured too, but you couldn't afford him. And you have to get rid of your corner down, Stevie Nelson. There's guy Tuitt. Oh, I know he's a defensive back. You have decent cornerbacks, but you have no depth. There's no meat behind that bone, and you're kind of relying on Joe Hayden not taking a step back. He's turning 32, or he's already 32. That's an old guy. That's an old guy. He had a pretty good season last year, but are you going to rely on Joe Hayden? Take a look at the defensive line. It's not the same as last year. We saw that kind of fizzle down towards the end of last year as well. TJ Watt, the runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year last year. He's a good player. But the opposite guy, Tuitt, whoever you want to put, that's not really that daunting, really. Devin Bush has shown a little less development than what you would like. And then the defensive interior, it's just like there's a bunch of guys there. I'm taking a look at the names. I'm just taking a look at the names. I don't know who these guys are. The Jets apparently have a good defensive line, and I don't know who any of the guys are. So maybe the Steelers' defensive line is good. I looked it up. They were top half in the league in run defense, and then top 3 in the secondary. But these names, Mike Tomlin's a good coach. I like him. But can they rely on this defense once again to be that good? I wish I would have checked the strength schedule last year. But I remember just the entire season just going, the Eagles are playing another cupcake this week. And then when they start playing good teams, kind of like the New England Patriots, remember, they were 8-0, beating up on the Daniel Joneses. Remember, Luke Falk played for the Jets, beating up on the Texans of the world. I think they lost to the Texans that year. Anyway, so beating up on Bengals and stuff, the Patriots were. End up getting like Spygate on that one too. But let's move over to the offense real quick because they spent 3 picks, their first 3 picks on offense this year. The Pat Freiermuth pick, I don't know why I mentioned that one first, but people were shitting on it. I think that's a pretty good pick. 2 tight ends. He doesn't like the Baby Gronk name or whatever. The dude's a pretty decent player. Now, I think it was a little bit overhyped coming in, but good athleticism, catches the ball. I wish he was a little bit more willing of a blocker. Good player. Good player. He's the clear second best tight end in the draft. You got him in the late second round. Kendrick Green, good guard. But you're going to have to move your right tackle last year, who I've watched some film on. I wasn't overly impressed on the guy. You have to move him over to the left side. You no longer have Villanueva. You're putting Ben Roethlisberger back there. And, Tom Brady gets the ball out in 2.3 seconds. Can Ben Roethlisberger do that? Does he trust his wide receivers? Now, the Steelers wide receiver coach, don't forget, he died last year. And I feel like it really hurt this wide receiver core, them dropping the ball over the show. They had a prolific offense for a bit there. Nobody wanted Juju. Deontay Johnson felt like he took a step back last year. Chase Claypool was a bright spot. But, James Washington, it feels like these guys aren't, progressing a bit. And then what you got was Najee Harris, in the first round. Instead of going after, maybe a Liam Eichenberg or something else to, solidify that Steelers offensive line. Because that was, over the years, I don't think Marquise Pouncey was good last year at any point, really. But, the reason why they were good for a couple years was their offensive line. And for the past, a lot of years, it's because their offensive line protecting Ben Roethlisberger, who can't move. They call him Big Ben for a reason. Big Ben is a statue. They don't call him, Quicksilver. They call him Big Ben. He stands in the pocket and throws it. And I'm not calling for an injury here, but when a guy screams coming off the left side, when you're playing the Ravens, who blitz up, you're gonna throw 50 blitzes at you. The Browns with Myles Garrett, Jay McClowney, but they added so many Marvin Wilson on the defensive to tackle spot, and he's like, oh yeah, he'll be like the third or fourth guy. But you take a look at the defensive lines that they play this year, and you're like, oh, you're worried for Big Ben, and then your backup is Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins. Good luck with that one, But let me know what you guys think. Again, I probably had the Steelers around 8-9. They're just playing too tough a division. I can't see them in the playoffs. There's just a bunch of teams that I can see in the playoffs, and I can't see them. I just think Big Ben gets paid too much money. They lost depth in key positions, but the draft wasn't bad. But, who does Najee Harris have to run behind? Nobody. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think. Disagree, agree, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.